Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I'm talking about the new comics that I picked up on January 15th, 2020. But before that, I want to talk about CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths. I watched all 5 parts last night. I freaking loved it. I am not caught up on any of the series at all, but I still enjoyed it so much. So if you're like me for a while, and thought, oh, I can't watch it because I'm not caught up on anything. I don't think you have to be at all. You get the gist of what's been going on all the different shows, more or less. And it's its own story. I'm sure it ties into all kinds of stuff. I can't say that for sure, but I didn't feel like I was missing very much. There's enough in the context of these 5 episodes for me to really understand what was going on, enough to enjoy it. So yeah, that's really all I want to say about it, because there's tons and tons of spoilers to talk about. Even a couple of the things that I was most excited about on there, but it's kind of hard to avoid spoilers anyway, just seeing any posts about it at all. But yeah, I felt like I had really good timing of when to decide to watch it. I think if I had watched the first 3 episodes when they first aired, then I might have gotten frustrated with having to wait a month for the other 2. But I watched these. I saw a post about it because it was airing last night, Tuesday night, January 14th, parts 4 and 5. And I saw a post about it. I was like, oh man, I need to just watch this. So I started watching it on the CW app, and then this is maybe 10 o'clock at night, something like that. And then by the time I finished episode 3, episodes 4 and 5 were already up on the CW app. It was perfect. I just rolled right into watching those and watched the whole thing. And now I feel like I could just keep watching these shows from here. There's 2 more episodes of Arrow, and then it's done. That's the series finale. And then just continue on board. Okay. And yeah, I feel like this is a great time to do that because of how the events turn out in the Crisis. So I really recommend it. Go check it out. It's on the CW app. The CW app is free. There's just ads during the show or whatever. This is perfect time to watch it because all 5 episodes are on there. I have not watched the Aftermath episodes, which is they're hosted by Kevin Smith, talking about the episodes after almost each one. I think there's just 3 Aftermath episodes, but yeah, I recommend checking that out as well. I don't know how good those are. I imagine they're pretty good, but I haven't watched those. But the shows themselves, awesome. I enjoyed it, and I really, really, really recommend it. Also, earlier, I checked out the trailer for Stargirl because I thought that was just going to be on DC Universe, but it looks like it's going to be on HBO Max and CW. Well, mainly CW, but all the CW shows are going to be on HBO Max. And I got signed up to get notifications when exactly that's going to launch and all of that. But I'm pretty excited for the Stargirl. That Stargirl show, because you got Luke Wilson in there as her dad. That's gonna be great. I guess there's somebody's gonna be maybe he's the robot. I'm not sure, but it looks a lot of fun, a lot like Doom Patrol. With it's a little bit wacky, but I'm excited. And then also Starman, we see flashbacks of him in the trailer. It's Joel McHale, so I hope there's a little bit more than just a brief origin or whatever of him dying and whatnot. We see that in the trailer, but yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I'm really excited for HBO Max in general. And then when I signed up, they said, hey, if you're subscribed to HBO Now, directly through HBO, not through adding it onto Hulu or whatnot, I haven't done it yet, but I will probably do that in the next week. Get signed up for that because there's so many HBO shows. I need to watch Watchmen, his Dark Materials, Silicon Valley, And then Curb Your Enthusiasm starts this Sunday. So anyway, I don't know. It seems like so Stargirl, I guess, isn't going to be on DC Universe. Maybe it will also be on there, but I already paid for the next year of it, so I'll have both ways of watching it if it does. But I think DC Universe is really worth it just for the comics anyway. And then it's, or I mean, okay, the comics is, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just for Titans and Doom Patrol, it's awesome. Just for comics, it's awesome. But you get both of those things, and like, of course, I'm gonna use it a lot, and I have been using it a lot. I probably use it more than a lot of other streaming services that I'm subscribed to. Not necessarily for streaming stuff though. But technically, I guess you're streaming the comics when they just load page by page when you're reading. Anyway, so there you go. That's my plugs. Those are all my plugs for DC Universe and the HBO Max service that's coming up, and HBO in general, and all of that. Okay, so let's talk about the actual comics. So I just picked these up. I wanted to get ahead on this week, so I'm not going to be able to talk about having read any of these because I really just got back from the comic book shop. And then I'm going to go through what's coming out next week. So I was planning on being in Orlando right now to go to NXT, but I just was not feeling good about the trip late last night and decided to cancel it. And I'll go next week. It's the last week before Worlds Collide. So, and then it turned out I was kind of sick today, I think, from eating too much Chili's yesterday. I had like a huge dish of their chicken pasta. Is not sit right. But anyway, Chili's is delicious, and I do recommend Chili's. Just don't eat like way too much of it. But anyway, so I am at home getting ready for Albuquerque Comic Con this weekend. So that was the main reason, is that I was not feeling good about having to rush on Thursday to get ready to get packed and everything to drive down on Friday morning. So not going to Orlando, I could spend more time spread out all of that preparation over a couple of days instead of all like in 10 hours on Thursday. But anyway, go to come check out Albuquerque Comic Con. Lots of awesome people are going to be there. We've got Flying Frog illustrations. I've got tons and tons of prints from her, and commissioned an amazing illustration of Crazy Jane from Doom Patrol with her Tacos Are Everything shirt. I have that framed, hanging up in my room. And so she's going to be there. Her name is Holly, and her partner Chris. He has some really awesome stuff too. It's kind of like old-fashioned portrait, like Victorian era type portrait style, I think. These acrylic paintings of like Star Wars people, all kinds of other pop culture stuff. His stuff is really awesome too. I've got a whole bunch of his trading cards. So they're going to be there. Art of Breed will be there, who I met at in Las Vegas at the Great American Comic Con or whatever that was called. And then also one of my neighbors there will be there. I forget her name. She does the pot heads. If you search for don't search for pothead. She makes like out of Sculpey, she makes little characters that are in pots. So that's why they're the potheads. But I know she's going to be there, and I think a couple more people. Those are the 4 people I know for sure that I've kind of made friends with, more or less. So I'm really excited for it. Go check them out. Even though I wasn't. So Art of Breed. His name is Bobby Breed, and his Instagram is Art of Breed. Flying Frog Illustrations is Holly's Instagram, and C. Wilson Art, I think, is Chris's Instagram. Something like that. But yeah, go check. And then I don't remember the pothead thing. Anyway, I don't if she's even on Instagram. I'm not sure if she is on Instagram because I think I would have added her if she was. But anyway, okay, let's talk. So that's why I'm not talking about any of the books that I've read because I haven't had a chance to read them yet, and I'm not sure if I will. So I may as well just record this episode right now. All right. So first up, Archie. Archie and Katie Keene, number 1, which is Archie number 710. This is coming out off of Archie and Sabrina. So, like I said last week, a lot of these I already talked about a little bit about last week. The Batman's Grave, number 4. I got the variant cover here. Pretty cool cover. Him throwing the Batarang at the camera. Betty Page, Unbound, number 9. It looks like she's Elsa, or the Ice Queen or the White Queen, whatever her fairy tale name is. But it looks like she has those freezing powers and stuff and has the ice castle behind her. Okay, I thought that I unsubscribed from this book, but this might be the last issue I'm getting. The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, number 5. I have not been reading these, but I guess I may as well now since I have 5 of them total. We have the Detective Comics number... where's the number 359? This is from way back in the 60s, I think. When did this come out? It might have been the 70s. I'm gonna guess 70s. I'm gonna guess 1973. Let's look inside and see what it's if we have it in there. Oh man. My first instinct was a bit closer. Is 1966 is when this issue originally came out. Man, that's a long. This comic's been going a long time. But anyway, I have read this book. I realized the reason that I had read it was because I read it in the DC Universe app because it's the first appearance of Batgirl. With her origin and everything. She's like, I forget exactly the context of all the stuff she's doing. But anyway, it's the first appearance of Batgirl, and it's pretty good. Go check it out. It's a classic issue. Yeah, or check it out in the DC Universe app. Detective Comics 359. Okay, then we have the Batgirl Adventures. This is what I was trying to remember, but it's Batgirl in the Batgirl Adventures, or Batman Adventures. This is Batman Adventures number 12. We got Harley and Poison Ivy doing stuff, and yeah, this is $1 comics right now. So this, I haven't read it yet, but for $1, if you like Batgirl, check it out. Then we have the Flash number 86. Got the variant cover for this. Most of the variant covers for Flash is just him running and looking real cool. And I mean, that's kind of the case for everything. Like, it's Batman swinging through the air and looking real cool, or it's Superman flying into the air and looking real cool. It's pretty standard. But anyway, also Flash Forward, issue number 5 of 6. He's saying the secrets of the multiverse are mine. Wally West is, that is. And then our the variant cover has him going through, it looks like space. So I don't know what's going on with that, if that is actually something that's in the book. Then we have Ghost Spider number 6, which is Legacy number 56. I'd say this is my favorite Marvel book that I subscribe. I'm only subscribed to a couple of Marvel books anyway, but I really liked Ghost Spider. As her she's going to school in another dimension, all that kind of stuff. I like that, all of that a lot. And then we have Glow versus the Babyface, issue number 5. We have girl, what's her name on the cover here? I forget all the characters' name, but the one girl who ends up in the latest season, she's the one who starts she starts dating a male prostitute because he thinks that she's a prostitute when they first start like getting together or whatever. Anyway, that's spoilers for Glow season 3. And it's not the art style seems like this would be kid friendly because it's really like cute art, but they swear, and the little kid that they're dealing with is a real asshole and all that kind of stuff. I actually don't remember having read issue number 2. I feel like I may have mistakenly marked it as read on my database app or whatever, but I did really, really like issue number 1. That's for sure. I can actually remember stuff that happened in issue number 1. Then we have Justice League Odyssey. We got Cyborg there on the cover with even more gear than he usually has, I feel like. Yeah, he's got a whole like mask, like a lower face mask thing, and that it's pretty intense. But I didn't realize that I got until I got home that I got the main cover. I've been normally getting the B covers for this, and thankfully they're the shop I go to, Hall of Justice Comics in Parker, Colorado. They're really cool, and I just messaged them and said, "Yeah, that's no problem. I pulled the variant for you. Come in and swap it out next time you come." And so that's yet another reason why that shop is awesome. And if you live in Colorado, only get your comics there. Everywhere else is the worst. So I don't know. I've only that's it. It's probably true. At the very least, they're the best. Not everything else can't be. Only one thing can be the worst, right? But yeah, Hall of Justice Comics is awesome. And then we have Joe Hill House Comics, a couple of titles from there. This one came out last week, actually. I decided, you know what, I'm going to get the variant cover because the variant is really, really cool. And I have a feeling I'm going to like this book anyway. So Daphne Byrne, number 1, that actually came out last week. And I did add that to my subscriptions. So I will be reading that for sure. Joe Hill, another Hill House comic, The Lola Woods, number 2. And I can't remember if I've read number 1 yet, but if not, it's only one more to read to get caught up on that. And then we have Lucifer, number 16. This is now the only Sandman Universe book that I've been getting because I stopped getting The Dreaming, and I've been okay with that, I think. I'm not caught up on either of them anyway, so it's all good. And then Over the Ropes, number 2. I really liked issue number 1. It's about a guy who's basically a jobber, and it's like him rising up through the ranks and stuff. And it's all fictional. Well, of course, it's all fictional, but it's like all like original wrestler characters and all that. It's its own universe. It's not like an adaptation of something that exists in the real world or anything like that. It might be inspired by existing wrestlers and gimmicks and stuff like that, but it's all its own thing. And yeah, it's pretty cool. He like goes into business for himself in the first issue. He was supposed to lose like a championship match, and then he's like, nope, I'm gonna win. And so it like totally screws up the promoter's plans and all of that. And he's like, well, too bad. And do what I want. All that. It looks like he's in a dog collar match on this cover, but we'll see what's going on with that. Then we have The Question, the Deaths of Vic Sage, book 2. I got both variants of that. And they're both pretty cool variants. And I was pretty excited. If I hadn't been reading a lot of, I don't think The Question showed up, at all in Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths. But since I have been reading a lot more comics, I'm more familiar with a lot of the characters, and when they pop up, then I'm like more excited about it. Like I was like, oh my gosh, that's Jonah Hex. I probably would have recognized him anyway, but that's a spoiler. Jonah Hex appears like in one scene at one point, and it was pretty cool. In North Dakota, when it says North Dakota, that's when you can expect that. I'm just going to give that away. When you see that they go to North Dakota at one point, you're about to see Jonah Hex, so be prepared. That's the only spoiler I'm going to give for Crisis on Infinite Earths. Okay. That's the only reason that they go to North Dakota, is that so they could get Jonah Hex in there. Is that thing? Yeah. Anyway, we have Jimmy Olsen, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, number 7. We have Elastic Lad and a couple other versions of him, including one where he's sitting at a um oh, it's not Charlie, it's not Charlie Brown, but the girl. What's the girl's name? It's Linus's sister. Why can't I remember Linus's sister's name? But it's the psychiatric help the doctor is in, 5 cents or whatever. What is her name? Oh, this is gonna bother me. I don't want to look it up because I feel like that's giving up without. Let's talk it through. Okay, she pulls the football away from Charlie Brown, and whenever somebody mentions that, they usually mention her name. So it's not Susie. That's the girl from Calvin and Hobbes. It's not Peppermint Patty. It's not Marcy. Those are the other girls. Linus is her brother. Is it? And then their little brother. Is his name Shortstop? It's not short. Okay, I have to. I talked it through enough that I should have remembered by now. But Charlie Brown characters. Because we also have good old I can't remember other characters' name too. Of course, Snoopy. Lucy Van Pelt. I had a feeling it started with an L because the alliteration, and that means their little brother probably has an L name too, which is okay. I'm going to the Peanuts wiki. Schroeder, that's the piano player I was trying to remember but didn't say anything about. Oh, Sally Brown, of course, his little sister. Rerun. That's pretty similar to Shortstop. I feel like I was close on that one. But why doesn't he have an L name? Their parents blew it. They had a good thing going on with the L's. Rerun Van Pelt does not run off the tongue as well as Lucy Van Pelt and Linus Van Pelt. It should have been something like Lionel Van Pelt or something like that. Oh well, that decision was made long before I was born. I'm pretty sure. Like when? Okay, now I have to look this up. But first, okay, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, number 7, and then Vampirella Red Sonja, number 5. I really like this book with they're like the classic like odd couple. What are they going to do? How are they going to get along? Will they get along or are they enemies? I don't know. But I have been enjoying that. Let's see. Oh my god, when I was typing that, I was typing when did Rerun Van Pelt debut? And as I was typing it, it had to search when did Rerun Van Pelt die? Wait, what? Did he die in the comics? I'm going to have to do that search. But he became a character May 23rd, 1972. So that was way before I was born, so there was nothing I could do about it. Be like, hey, stop! Don't give him an R name. Give him an L name. How did Rerun get his name? He is nicknamed Rerun because due to his failing grades in school, every summer he has to go to school to rerun the stuff he did. Oh, it's his nickname. Let's see. What's his real name? Okay. He is named when Lucy Van Pelt, his sister, calls the situation, his birth, a rerun of what happened with her brother, Linus Van Pelt. Linus decides to name him that. They let Linus and Lucy name him? That's ridiculous. You can't let your kids name the other kids. Let them name the pets, but don't. That's like the way a pet would be named. I'm so upset for Rerun. He got stuck with the worst name ever. Like it's Okay, why am I talking so much about Rerun Van Pelt? Okay, what was I gonna say? Oh, I gotta look this up. Like I said, it had the debut, but when did Rerun Van Pelt die? Let's see. Okay, I'm not getting any articles specifically of him dying. So I'm hopeful that he didn't actually die in the comic strip. That'd be really, really sad. But maybe okay, let's see. He was rarely used in the 1980s. By that time, Schultz had run out of ideas about how to use him. By 1996, Rerun had aged to 5 years old and reluctantly entered kindergarten, so he was still younger than the other characters in the Peanuts gang. And that's all it says about his development. Doesn't say anything about his personal life history or anything like that. But there you go. Way too much talk about Rerun Van Pelt in this episode, so I will end that here. No, I will not end that end there, because I have next week's comics to talk about. Just real quick, we've got Red Sonja, Age of Chaos #1. I'm not sure if I asked to get that or not, but it is coming out next week if you're excited for that. From what I understand, it spins out of the main Red Sonja story, but it's like parallel to it, so we'll tie back into it when it is complete or whatever. That's what I got from the advertisements anyway. Then we have Vampirella #7. This will be my first month getting this, just one copy of it instead of getting all the main variants. Then we have Basket Full of Heads, number 4, another Joe Hill comics. So there's been an ongoing I think it's called Sea Dogs story that's like four pages at the end of like every Joe Hill comics book, and I've been skipping those so far, and that because I want to just read them all at once when it's a complete story, because I'll forget way too easily just reading a couple pages at a time. And then we have Batgirl #43, Batman/Superman #6. I think this has to be the last issue of that. I'm not sure. I think it's just a mini series. Batman Curse of the White Knight #6. I think that is that's either the last issue or it's halfway done. That seems like something that could be 12 issues. I'm not sure. I have not read any of it so far. Unfortunately, I need to get on top of that. All of these, really. Detective Comics #1019. Burn the Bat, it says on the cover, the main cover of that. Metal Men #4. Shazam number 10. Superman #19. Wonder Twins #11. I'm super excited for that. I really, really like that book. Wonder Woman #750. So that's like the legacy numbers. They're like they did with Action Comics and Detective Comics have been going consistently with those numbers for the most part, but recently they have been consistent with the overall numbers. Whereas Wonder Woman started at #1 with Rebirth and has been going since then. So I'm not sure I can't remember what issue. I think this is like 86 or something like that. But yeah, number 750. It's got all the different decade version covers, and I forget if I asked for any of those specifically, but that should be a really, really cool release of all of those next week. All of the covers are really cool. Then we have Hell Arisen. It's Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen #2. That's the last one. I think I'm getting that for all the DC comics. And then the only 2 Marvel comics that I get are Fantastic Four, #18 comes out next week, and Marauders #6. And then we also have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Urban Legends #21, Count Crowley, what's the rest of that? Reluctant Monster, or whatever it's called. Number 4 that comes out. That book is awesome, and I believe number 4 is the conclusion of this story. But I expect, hopefully, I don't expect, but I hope that they do another run of those, of the next chapter in Count Crowley's adventures. And then Middle West number 14, which I really, really need to get caught up on that one. But yeah, that's everything that's coming out next week. Hopefully I can get a few of those read, so I can talk about maybe not necessarily those issues, but more about what's leading up to them and all of that. Yeah, that's it. This has been a pretty long episode with back-to-back new comics episodes from last week. We got a good dose of rerun Van Pelt talk, Crisis on Infinite Earths, and all of that. So hopefully there's y'all enjoyed just a little bit of this episode, and it wasn't too much of a struggle to get all the way here to minute 32. We're coming up on minute 32, and so I will wrap it up. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you thought about this episode and all these books and all the shows and all the stuff I've mentioned by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.